Iowa basketball is on the board for the class of 2027. Keller Daughterty may not be a four-star today, but this is exactly the kind of smart evaluation that'll pay off big for Ben McCollum and the Hawkeyes.
You are Locked On Hawkeyes, your daily podcast on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome in. I'm Trent Condon, and this is the Locked On Hawkeyes podcast. Thanks for making Locked On Hawkeyes your first listen every day, your daily Iowa Hawkeye podcast. Today, we're going to talk some football as we are 82 days away from kickoff. Yes, the kickoff continues as we will continue to round into form and take a look at some of the big names that are out there as we have passed through. Number 82 on your roster, Dylan Stecker, but we're going to talk about some of the players we missed over the weekend and counting down till we get ready for the matchup with the Hawkeyes and talk some Iowa football a little bit later on. Speaking of football, Tom Kakert will join us from HawkeyeReport.com. We'll get the latest on the Hawkeye front, both football recruiting, get some thoughts on Tom of that. We're going to also talk some Big Ten football with him and basketball as well, coming up with Tom Kakert from Hawkeye Report. But we begin with the big news over the weekend as Iowa has nabbed a commitment out of the class of 2027. Ben McCollum has picked up his first of the commitments for this class. Now, also hanging in the background when we look at recruiting coming up that season for next season, we also have the thought process that very well, the way recruiting happens could be much different next year. Because if the 5-5 rule goes into effect, that means that the seniors currently on the Iowa roster, well, that's going to change. And that's going to mean that guys like Cale Combs is going to have another year of eligibility next season. That would obviously change the equation for Iowa basketball and the way that they have to recruit. Cam Manyow, same thing. Guy that is listed as a senior this year, he would have another year of eligibility if that is put into place. And suddenly, Iowa's going to have to maybe re-identify, refigure out exactly how they're recruiting. But back to the class of 2027. We know that point guard is a huge need area. That has been what we have talked about the most here. And also because Iowa has been involved with so many prospects. But I saw the Condon kid from up in Wisconsin. He made his commitment to Iowa State over the weekend. His finalists were Nebraska, Iowa, and Iowa State. He made the choice to be a Cyclone, and TJ Otzelberger continues to hit that pipeline to Milwaukee and Wisconsin as a whole very, very well. So with that off the board, Iowa goes back to the drawing board. And this is a guy that they'd offered a while back in Keller Daughterty. So Doherty is a player. He's not going to be a four-star, not going to be a five-star player, but this is a guy that I think is incredibly intriguing for a number of reasons. Number one, the growth that we're seeing. As a sophomore, this guy was 6'3", 6'4". Now he is 6'10.5" with shoes on, according to 24/7. Sean Bach had that in his report talking about that one. Getting this guy that has a skill set, grew up as a guard, develops into a center, that is something that is just a whole lot different. And before he blew up, before he got some monster offers that very well could have been coming throughout the summer, Iowa very quickly, like their evaluation, made the offer, got him on campus, and now they have a commitment from Keller Daughterty. I love the skill set. Watching him, you can see a guy that's still growing into his body, trying to figure out that part of it. That's definitely a piece, and you understand that. The offer list, it was Drake. It was a couple of mid-majors that were there. Oklahoma had it also come in, though, very quickly here with an offer for him, too. So at least you have another Power 4 program that is there. Skill set, really good shooter. People love the way that he shoots the basketball. Colorado State was also involved with him with an offer as well. But a guy that shoots the ball well, has those guard skills, and throws it all together and definitely shows you exactly what this guy has a potential to be. It is a potential fit at this point in time, and we'll see how that development, how he grows into the body, but good size, moves well for his size. I think that's going to go a long way, and still figuring out also how to play that way, that's going to be big too, and have to be excited about that. Speaking of coming up, Iowa also is hosting Tyrone Jamison for an official visit. Arrive in Iowa City, and he is down to a list that includes USC. You got Oklahoma, LSU, Baylor, Alabama involved for Tyrone Jamison. This is back to that point guard recruiting, and really interesting when you look at him because you go through a guy from Shreveport, Louisiana. He is quick. He is fun to watch. He is incredibly a dynamic type of player, and he's really good. And we were talking about a guy that's a top 100 player. That's not something that you sniff around, right? Some places have him even a top 50 player in the country. Yet when it comes to the recruiting, we all come back to the conversation and Dougherty. And that's the part where you have a guy that is just a complete program changer, is completely different on that front. And that leads to certainly the speculation you have is this going to be more of a slow play? What we're going to see on that front. It is great to see, though, Ben McCollum and the staff and the feedback that we're already getting on the recruiting trail. We knew about the program. You heard about it in Northwest Missouri State. You saw it in year number 1 at the D1 level at Drake and what he was able to do with the Bulldog program. And then seeing obviously what he did this season with the Hawkeyes, the run to the Elite Eight, the just times that they played at such a high level, you can envision what it is. That was aided by Bennett Sturtz, though. And Bennett Sturtz is no longer going to be there. And now sustaining this and taking another step forward. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about the team coming up this season. I think the future is incredibly bright. And when you hear different people, there was a report up at 24/7 talking to a number of college coaches. And the one thing that the takeaway that I had is there was a coach that just mentioned Coach Mack knows what he wants, identifies it. They believe in what they're doing, and then they go out and they get the guy. And that's the same thing that you're getting here with Keller Daughterty. This is a guy that they identified. They didn't care about recruiting lists. They didn't care about who else was offering. They identified a guy. They found a fit. They found a guy that can fit into their system, and they went out and executed that. Yes, everybody tries to do that, but it's easier said than done. Ben McCollum, he deserves the benefit of the doubt. At this point, after what he did in year number 1, first Sweet 16 since 1999, first Elite Eight since 1987, he deserves the benefit of the doubt. I like what they got here in Dougherty. I think this is going to be another one we're going to be talking about and looking back. Ben McCollum did it again. Now go find that point guard. Coming up next, Tom Kakert from HawkeyeReport.com is going to join us. We'll talk Hawkeye football. We'll talk Hawkeye basketball with Tom, including a look at the new floor. Some people out there do not like the look of the new basketball floor. We'll get Tom's thoughts about that when we come back. Stay right there. This is Locked On Hawkeyes. Workplace chaos can show up fast. The problem is finding the right candidate can take more time than most businesses can afford. That's where Indeed Sponsored Jobs comes in. Indeed Sponsored Jobs help you reach candidates who actually fit what you're looking for based on skills, experience, and location. Finding the right person can make all the difference, whether it's building a business or building a winning team. I have a small business, and with it, there are headaches. When you need to make a new hire, finding that right person, it's not just the person that has the best resume. It's about finding that person that does everything you're looking for in your company. Right skills, right attitude, the right experience, and what makes your team an entire group. It makes the group better. And that's why finding qualified candidates matters so much, and why tools like Indeed Sponsored Jobs can help make the process that much easier. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of Locked On Hawkeyes will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is the job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Let's get Tom Kakert in here. HawkeyeReport.com, part of On3/Rivals. Hello, Tom Kakert. How are you?
I'm good. It's vacation week for me, so it's nice.
So what are you doing on vacation? Do you really truly get the vacation getaway or no?
This is one I'm mandated that I'm kind of unplugged, family time. So yeah, we're out in beautiful Monterey, California, seeing some things.
Nice. So, very nice.
So went down to Big Sur this morning, and I told Trent, I said I saw a payphone for the first time in ages.
People in the audience going, "What?
A payphone?
A payphone? What the hell is that?
Have a dime in your pocket?"
Yeah. And what's that? What's the book underneath it?
It's a phone book.
A phone book. I'll be damned.
We're showing our age, guys.
Yeah, no, we are. Absolutely are. Well, I appreciate you taking time to away from your vacation to do this. So I just brought up before we went to break, I'd seen pictures of the new floor at Carver, And I thought, wow, this is really cool. Trent says, am I out of my mind?
No, I did say that.
But then I logged onto your site, Tom, and that's kind of the pushback on your site. There's a lot of unhappy. I thought it looked great, but not everybody feels that way.
Yeah, not everybody does. I think it looks okay. I think everybody just, they have this crazy dream that they're going to replace the Tiger Hawk with the Flying Hawk. And I just don't, that's not going to happen. There's too much invested in that Tiger Hawk.
Yeah.
Just can't get rid of it.
No, the Flying Hawk is cool though.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Some of the retro logos are awesome,
Yeah.
but yeah, with something as iconic as the Tiger Hawk, you definitely understand it. Tom, I guess I wanted some kind of homage back to the different era, back to the gold, because I was there. I was a student at the time when Steve Alford came in and he was going to change the floor. And here's this black floor. And it reminds me too much of the Alford and the Licklider years, and just some kind of throwback, not the whole thing maybe, but just to splash something like that. It's very dry to me. It is cookie cutter. This is what it is, which is fine. But that was the part maybe I was more hopeful for, is a little bit more gold in there.
Yeah, it would have been nice. I did like that where they kind of subtly put the eyes in the black on the outside.
Yes.
I liked that. I thought that was pretty cool. And you just can't see it from a distance, probably. Is my guess. You're not going to be able to notice it. But if you're close to the floor, you see it and you go, oh, that's pretty interesting. But it is what it is. Glad they got the new floor. Saw the guys got out there and got to shoot around a little bit. So, now we'll see if that floor's got some more wins in it for them.
Fingers crossed. So what can they do now, Tom? As far as, everything has changed so much, right? The coaches can't even watch. Now they could be in there, some of them. What can they do at this time of the year?
Yeah, they can get out there on the floor with the players, and they give them more time on the court. So there's that time. There was always the training time with the strength and conditioning coach, which is the bigger thing that they do this time of year. But they're going to be able to get out. Last summer they were out getting some running in with the players and getting better, installing the offense and getting those guys up to speed. Now it's not as important this year because most of the guys are back. They're adding 2 high school kids and 2 transfers. So those are the guys that they've got to try and get up to speed. So that's going to be the main focus: get McKeever and Coleman and Kuhn and Harris up to speed.
2 guys I want to ask you about, and they both had really good freshman campaigns. Cooper Kacha was a redshirt freshman campaign, but the way he came on the back third of the year after struggling with the shot for a while, he was incredible on the back half. What more he can add to his game. And then Tate Sage, who you'd have told me a year ago at this time, well, he's probably redshirting, what that guy turned into. And I know I've heard you mention before, did he run point on the AAU circuit with his AAU team also? And how much more we can maybe see growth out of those guys going from really nice Big Ten players to a huge step forward now in their sophomore campaigns?
Yeah, I'll start with Tate because he's interesting because on his AAU team and his high school team, he was essentially he told me he was basically a point guard on those teams. So he's really comfortable with the ball in his hands and distributing it. And we know that Ben McCollum likes guys like that and really likes to play 2 point guards at a time. What he did last year with Cale Combs and Bennett Sturtz. I suspect he's going to do that this year with Tate Sage and Cale Combs and try to run those 2 as his backcourt where they can kind of change off and handle the ball. And you saw Tate bring the ball up quite a bit late in the year where he was pretty comfortable doing that and distributing. So that's going to be a big step for him. And now he's going from a guy that's coming off the bench, some nights giving you 10 minutes, some nights giving you 25, to now he's going to be counted on to be I think a 30-minute a game type guy. So that's a leap. And there's a starting lineup. Coop just came on like gangbusters last year. Boy, he just, once he got the confidence in his shot, you could just see it. And from everything that the coaches have said, we had Luke Barnwell on podcast recently, and he was talking about just how confident that kid is. So I think he's a guy that's really elevated his game, and that confidence is just going to continue to grow as a shooter. And, I think the question is going to be, is he a 3? Is he a 4? Does he kind of bounce between those two things? Because one of the fascinating things for me is going to be what that starting lineup is going to look like for the Iowa men's basketball team, because you have to think they're going to start McKeever. You don't get a 7-3 guy and just sit him.
Right.
But I think Ben leans more towards the defensive side of things, and so I wonder if they're going to have Cam Manyow be a 4 at least to start the game, and play Coop at the 3, and Sage and Combs at the backcourt.
Any hope for Tavian Banks?
I think at this point that ship is probably sailing down the road.
Yeah.
I don't think it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And, hopefully Tavian can find some professional opportunities somewhere. He hasn't signed anywhere with, any pro teams overseas, but I think a lot of that action picks up probably after the NBA draft in 2 weeks.
So over on the women's side, you have a look back to what they did previously this year with the way that they were constructed with Ava Hayden and with Hannah Stuelke, that the old triangle offense, a high post and a low post, and go in that direction. I liked it for those two players. I didn't like what it did though in the backcourt and the wings. And I didn't think they had enough action coming off of it. Well, they're going back to what they did for years and years, going back to Lisa Bluter and now Jan, going back to their old offense. And when you look at the makeup of this team, it feels like obviously the right step to do that. But what does that mean for Ava Hayden inside? The different kind of looks that she's going to get in, and could there be even more growth from her after a great sophomore year, going back to, I guess, a more traditional Iowa offense?
Yeah, that 4 out look just is going to give her more space to kind of move, where, with Hannah, like the high post, you were still kind of clogging things up because nobody respected her shot. So now if McKenna Velechko can come in and hit that 15-footer, or if you've got Journey Houston playing the 4, hitting that 15-footer, that just opens things up even more for Ava Hayden around the bucket. And now if you've got Whiting who can shoot it, or Cambridge who can come in and shoot it, Chit-Chat gets better shooting the ball. I mean, you surround her with shooters, that just opens things up so much more. So I think that's going to be the big thing for them. I suspect Ava's going to have a huge season this year. I really do. I think she's going to be a potential All-American at the center position in women's college basketball.
Interesting. Any more hoops, TC? Let's go to football. I saw, as to be expected, it's late June after all. Ari Wasserman, I believe is how you say his name. He's coming out with rankings. Big Ten, I saw the Big 12. Iowa State's picked absolutely last in their power rankings. Iowa 8 in the Big 10. But what's surprised? I'm not surprised where Iowa is. I'm surprised Oregon is ahead of both Ohio State and Indiana. I mean, I know they're going to be good, one would assume, but it's just weird to click on there and not see the Buckeyes or not see the defending national champs, in particular the Buckeyes up there at number 1. How about your thoughts there? Yeah, I thought so too, but then, you look at the Ohio State schedule and it's a little more challenging than normal. They've got more difficult games, including that game at Texas. But that's going to be a tough one for them, going against Arch and the Longhorns. But they've got a tough schedule, and it's going to be challenging. And I think Oregon's schedule might be just a little bit easier. I've heard that they have gone out. I know it's always you have to wait and see what happens, but they went out and they got some good players too. And I've heard from people out there that Phil Knight is just kind of, this is his dream year where he thinks they've got a shot at winning the title, and that's what he wants before he not getting any younger.
Isn't great.
Yeah,
his health is not great, and he wants to get that national title. So they spent a little bit extra money on the football program this year to try to get the pieces in place, because Dan Lanning thinks he can win a title this year.
When was that game? When did they play each other? That wasn't last year, right? There was such a phenomenal game. Oregon, Ohio State was a 1 point.
2 years
was
ago.
It 2 years ago?
Yes.
And it was a close game.
And
right?
they had the rematch then in the Rose Bowl, in the quarterfinals, and the Buckeyes jumped out 35-0.
Boat raced them.
Yes.
Boat raced them.
That was a big one there. What do you think about Indiana? Where are you with the Hoosiers going into this season?
boy, can you question Signetti anymore?
I don't think you can.
But here's the thing that I wonder about is he did bring over a lot of JMU guys, and most of those guys are gone now, and maybe that leads to some issues. We'll see. But I don't know how good is Hoover. I mean, he throws the ball really well, but he was also throwing it to the other team.
He was a lot. Yep.
At TCU. So how good is he? How good is that defense going to be? I think they're going to take a little bit of a step back, but losing one game would be a step back, right? I think they're probably going to lose a couple games this year, though. I really do.
I know that you're starting to delve into it because I'm guessing you're starting to work at some point on your July 4th, on your unveil of Iowa, your fearless forecast. Do you have a dark horse in the Big Ten at this point, Tom? Is there a team that, not necessarily that they're going to win it, but, that's picked toward the bottom? You think they're going to be better than that? Or do you have a dark horse team?
I haven't really dug into it yet that deeply, but I'm just, based on what other people are saying or whatever, they kind of think Wisconsin might be the team that surprises people this year. But I'm still skeptical of that whole thing. But they think that what's his name? Colton, is it Joseph?
Joseph, the Dominion, Old Dominion?
Yeah. Colton Joseph, that they think he's going to transform their offense, and we'll see. I think they're going to get boat raced by Notre Dame, and see
at Lambeau.
So red hot for them. I'm kind of invested in Notre Dame this year a little bit. I think they great defense, really good quarterback. I think they're if Notre Dame's and the schedule's so easy. I mean, if they're 11-1, 12-0, and Carr's playing well, it might be a good Heisman bet.
Yep, for sure.
Over to Iowa and the running back spot, and specifically not the guys. We know it's an incredibly deep room, and they're in good shape there. And added to it, getting Phillips out of the portal from South Dakota, who had nearly 2,000 yards a year ago. But the new coach there, Jay Norvell, things didn't go great with Omar Young. I think hearing the interview that you did with Kamari down in Florida, I think we could all read between the lines. It was not the right fit. The things that I've heard about Jay, it's not Liddell Betts, but it's incredibly close. I mean, just the personality, the understanding, the coaching off the field too, I think has gone a long way in that running back room. But when you look at both Norvell, what he can do with this group and just the group as a whole, it feels like as good as those guys were a year ago, I think all of them can take a step forward this year. And maybe we talk about the quarterback and are the wide receivers going to be good, but boy, that running game takes another step forward this year. This offense could be clicking again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting what Jay does, because Jay has not, he hasn't coached running backs before. Yeah. So it's a little different, but he's been on the offensive side as an assistant coach, so he's very comfortable with it. The thing that I've heard from just the players was they just feel like he sounds like a head coach when he's in there. And he sounds like he's just, understands the game at a different level and communicates it at a different level than Omar did. For whatever reason, Omar just didn't connect with those guys. I don't know. It's just so different. They had this great relationship with Liddell Betts, and I think I think so far it's been really good with Jay. So the production, I think, is going to be really good. I think maybe Kamari gets over that 1,000-yard mark this year, and I think it's a real productive run. I think that one of the fascinating things is to see who ends up being the second and third guy. Is it going to be, because I know they really like McNeil a lot. So I keep wondering if he's going to be the guy that kind of emerges as the second option this year.
We talked last week about our big recruiting weekend. They got a couple of commitments that we didn't even know they were visiting at the time. But what's kind of cooking football-wise coming up this weekend? They had a number of big prospects that still haven't made choices at this point in time. Football recruiting, what do you kind of expect this weekend while you're on vacation?
Yeah, they got the two guys, Barius Allen, the kid from the big D lineman, 6'5", 300 pounds. And then Jonathan Harris, the defensive back, who's a wrestler, which I think probably checks all the boxes for Iowa.
Yeah.
It's right there. Phil Parker loves physical defensive backs. So, now you just kind of wait. The Cam Thomas kid is visiting for running back. And so that's one of the positions that, you brought up running back that they haven't, they got Phillips last year in the portal, but they have not gotten like a prep running back in the last cycle. So they're really looking to get somebody in this cycle, I think, to get in there. And they just have not been able to close the deal, but they've got Kyler Kuhn, the offensive lineman. He's got to make a decision. So there's a couple of guys out there that I think they're really involved with. They would like to get, but this is going to be a small class. I think, 12 now, and it might get to 15, 16 tops before they're pretty much done at recruiting this year because they only have 10 seniors. So it's not like a lot of guys are going off the books.
Enjoy the West Coast, Tom Kakert. We will speak with you next week. Appreciate you taking time to join us here today. Thanks, Tom.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Tom Kakert, HawkeyeReport.com, Rival/On3 Media.
Thanks as always to Tom for his time. Great information, great insight on all things Hawkeyes, a lot of basketball. Got some women's basketball in there as well. Thanks to Tom Kakert for joining us from Hawkeye Report. Well, if you watch us each and every day, we are your daily Iowa Hawkeye podcast. The Everydayer Club is built for you. Get every Locked On Hawkeyes daily ad-free by joining our Everydayer Club today. Start your 7-day free trial right now and get closer to the Hawkeyes without the interruptions. Click on the link in the show notes, or you can go to lockedonhawkeyes.supercast.com to claim your free trial. That's lockedonhawkeyes.supercast.com. Coming back, Iowa football talk as we are 82 days away from kickoff. That's next, Locked On Hawkeyes. Throughout the NHL finals, every shift matters, every moment is intense, and everything comes down to the execution when the pressure is at its highest. And just like athletes must be ready to perform when the puck drops, a lot of guys want that same sense of readiness and confidence in their own lives too. That's where your Rugiet comes in. Rugiet offers modern performance-focused treatments designed to help you be ready when it matters. Their top option, Rugiet Ready, is fast-acting, clinically formulated treatment that comes in a simple mint that dissolves under your tongue. It's designed for convenience and with fast absorption effects that can last up to 15 minutes and may last up to 36 hours. They also offer Go Long, which is formulated to support both performance and control for longer lasting needs. It's all about helping guys feel prepared, confident, and in control. In the playoffs, readiness isn't optional, it's everything. And for a lot of guys, that means that idea of being ready at the right moment carries over into everyday life too. That's exactly what Rugiet is built around. This right here is something that I think we can all feel from time to time as we start to get a little bit older. The reality is most people don't want complicated routines. This is something you can add very quickly to your life and make it better for you. They want something that fits into real life and works without overthinking it. Rugiet Ready does that for you. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnNHL and get 15% off your ED treatment. That's Rugiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL for 15% off. Rugiet, performance medicine for men. Trent Condon back with you one final time on the Locked On Hawkeyes podcast. Thanks for being with us and making Locked On Hawkeyes your first listen every day. We are 82 days away from Iowa football. Boy, that feels good just to think about, to talk about, to get ready for. Number 82 on this year's roster, Dylan Stecker, redshirt freshman wide receiver, 6'4", 210 pounds out of Spirit Lake. He is a guy, definitely a big size, big bodied wide receiver, big guy at the class 2A level back in high school at Spirit Lake, and now trying to become yet another one of those walk-on stories for the Hawkeyes that go on and go incredibly well. Going through the last couple of days over the weekend, 83, that is Jackson Nueve, another one of those wide receiver walk-ons from Iowa City, Regina, started his collegiate career at Iowa Western. I want to go back, though, to 2 days ago, 84 days away from kickoff. Two guys, one, another wide receiver, Apollo Payne, but most importantly, number 84, Joseph Anderson. If you've been hearing here, I am incredibly high on Joseph Anderson. He's got the family bloodlines. That's a part of it, absolutely. And I know maybe sometimes we get a little bit enamored by that, but his dad, Benny, played in the NFL. His size, what he was also at the high school level, not just as a football player, which was incredibly good, led his team to district championship and the state quarterfinals, had a bunch of sacks during his career, was a 4-year letterman, all that, but also what he was as a track athlete. And he was a 4-time All-State jumper, the athleticism that goes along with it, led his team to their first state track championship as well at the high school level. 6'6", 241 pounds. And if he continues to build that mold, that body type into something, I think Joseph Anderson is somebody we're going to be talking about starting this season and going forward. That Joseph Anderson is going to be a guy that is going to be a big part of Iowa football in that defensive line, specifically the defensive end position over the next couple of seasons. That is our spotlight on Iowa football here today. Out of time, we will be back with you tomorrow with a lot more Locked On Hawkeyes, including a fun 10-year reunion. We'll tell about that tomorrow on Locked On Hawkeyes. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you then. Thanks for being with us on Locked On Hawkeyes, your daily Iowa Hawkeye podcast, Locked On Network, #1 for sports podcast. Talk to you tomorrow. Until then, go Hawks.